Jessica Stutzman, and welcome back to the Millcreek Government Channel. The Association for Needy and Neglected Animals has been serving the Erie community for 15 years, giving stray, abused, and neglected pets a second chance at life and introducing them to their forever home. You may know this beloved organization better by their acronym, the Anna Shelter. Joining us on the show today from the Anna Shelter is Director Ruth Thompson, alongside one of her furry friends. Ruth, thank you so much for joining us in the studio today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Well, first of all, I just want to introduce our furry friend. Who's this beautiful little boy?
Come here. This is Sunny.
Hi, Sunny.
Sunny is a blue heeler. He is about 7 to 9 months old. Fantastic dog. Like we were talking before we went on. Very, very smart. And he's really liking seeing himself on that camera. He thinks that's a great idea. Really nice dog. Really, really nice dog. And like I said earlier too, he wants to be somebody's dog again. Mm-hmm. He gets very attached very quickly. So hopefully but soon he'll have his forever home. Attaboy. And he just goes back down. He's a very nice dog.
Yes, and so, and we can talk about this a little bit later too, because there is a lot involved in dog ownership. But why was Sunny, you said he was an owner relinquished. Why was he relinquished?
He was surrendered, and we stress this so much as to do your breed research. He is bred, his genetics are bred to herd cattle. So now granted, yeah, he doesn't have to live on a farm, but he's gonna have a lot of energy. Right. They are very smart dogs. They're very easy to train because their minds are constantly going. And I joke a lot of times that I like the not so smart dogs because I need a dog that's a couch potato and that wants to just lay around, and that is not Sunny. Sunny likes having a job. He likes having something to do. Yes. By nature, he's a herder. So he'll even herd children. He'll herd people. He'll herd whatever he thinks he needs to keep contained. And they call them a healer because they do nip at the heels as they would with cattle or horses. I've got friends that have horses. I've got my own horses, but a couple of the barns where they have healers and they use them for that purpose, to bring the animals back in from the field and stuff. So he knows his job. As pretty as he is to look at, you've got to look beyond that and say, am I the best fit for this dog? And in this case, he wasn't the best fit. So we're looking again for somebody with breed experience so he gets to live his best life.
Yes, and they are high energy. And we, our family had a border collie from the Anna Shelter, and we used to call those little nips love bites. Yeah, because they never broke the skin, but they were trying to keep all the family members contained in one room. And
they know their job, and it's part of why we can't expect them to be any different, and it's not something you can train out of them. Right, it's instinct.
Right. So the Anna Shelter has a wonderful mission. Oh, are you sleepy? It has a wonderful mission, and you're a no-kill shelter.
We are.
What does that designation, no-kill, mean?
It's frustrating to me because I see it pop up different places, and no-kill initiative or a no-kill shelter is what's called open admission. Meaning, we don't cherry pick. We take the teacup chihuahua that everybody wants, and we take the intact male pit bull that nobody wants. So, and with that, we have no space or time limit. If you go to the shelter at any given day, today I was walking through doing inventory, and pretty much every cage has a medical card on it. So everybody's getting treated for something, medicated for something. The only time we would euthanize at our shelter is if an animal has a health issue that we are unable to take care of. For example, the last cat that I euthanized came in with a broken back, and there was nothing we could do. And I believe they go to heaven, so I felt good sending this cat along to its next destination. Or again, I also try to follow the motto, what I want my neighbor to own this dog. And if a dog is vicious, I used the example one time, just like Ted Bundy. We don't know why there was a chemical imbalance, and we've run into dogs where fear biting is something to work through, food aggression is something to work through. But there are dogs that, for whatever reason, they have a chemical imbalance, whatever the situation may be. And I don't want to. I want to be responsible, and I don't want the dog. I believe in a fate worse than death, and a humane euthanasia versus being beaten to death because you bit somebody's child, or left tied out in the woods because they couldn't handle you anymore. So I try to, to keep that in mind. But it's definitely not something we take lightly, and we truly are a no-kill shelter. We don't just use the word.
Right. And, like you said, sometimes their quality of life.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we've got hospice care for our dogs. We've got great foster homes that do the hospice care for us. They may have the dog for 2 days or 2 months, but if a dog's terminal, as long as we can keep them comfortable, that's been my big thing since I started my shelter. I can't stand, literally, I lose sleep over an animal suffering. If I know an animal is suffering, I just can't handle it, So as long as we can keep them comfortable, they're eating, then that to me is not a reason to not live.
Yes, and I'm so grateful for your mission. I've adopted several dogs from your shelter, so
and you guys are into the special needs, which has been a really, that's a niche that not enough people want to fall into. The dog that you took was just in horror, and I was joking with you. I can't believe it's been that long, but I still remember the way she smelled.
Yes.
I remember, just how painful she was, and she wanted to be touched so bad, but at the same time, it hurt her. Her skin was so bad that she couldn't take it. But you guys have done fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh,
Thank you.
She's one of my favorite success stories.
Yes, we adopted. Her name was Cheyenne, so that's her middle name now.
Oh.
And we adopted, or we changed her name to Kona because she actually never responded to Cheyenne.
Okay.
So we tried. And but so Kona Cheyenne, and she's a white German Shepherd, Husky mix. We got the breed test done.
Okay.
And she was, if I'm not mistaken, we've had her for 5 years now. She's turning 10 this year, which is fantastic for a German Shepherd. We're so happy. And she was, I believe, again, German Shepherds are somewhere between like 75 and 80 pounds. I think she was about 45 pounds and had no fur. All of her fur.
She had such severe infections on her skin. If you actually go on our Facebook page, we have folders of cases like hers, and she's actually in there. We have a before and after. We have when she was on the site, and you guys came in and were like, that's the one we want. And we were thanking God for people like you, because you knew she had a long road to recovery, and but now to see her, it's amazing.
You have no idea, and you know what? She is so sweet. You would never know that somebody.
She's thankful, and I truly believe that they are thankful. They know. I just think that they know.
Yes.
They do.
So I was going to say, we'll show some photos of Kona. And we really, want to get out. Where are you located, and what are the hours?
We're at 1555 East 10th. So we're close to downtown Erie, between Payne and Downing. It's a very industrial area. We are open every day to the public except for Sunday. We open at noon, Monday through Friday. Mondays and Wednesdays we're open till 7. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday we're open until 5, and Saturdays we open from 10 to 2. So that gives our staff time to get things cleaned and ready, even though I tell people it's a working shelter. So you're going to come in and see the girls cleaning or medicating. Right. We don't have the kind of staff that we can do everything before public gets there. So, but it's part of what we do, so.
Right. And what we were, again, talking about with the puppy in the studio and with Kona, we want to make sure that these dogs, when they go to their forever home, are going to people that understand their needs, understand their backstory.
Right.
What does the adoption process look like?
The adoption process is pretty simple. Like the dog your mom adopted, we knew nothing. She had been dumped in a field, so we didn't know any of her backstory. So sometimes that's hard, and you're definitely taking a chance with that. There's a 2-page application that you fill out. We verify important information. A source of income. Is the pet allowed on the property? If you don't own it, will your landlord allow you to have the pet? It's very important to us that every member of the family, everyone that lives in the household, has to come in and be on board. I don't want to put one of my animals in a place where everybody wants it except for Dad, and Dad's just putting up with it. Because the animal knows. They know when they're not wanted. They know when they're not welcome, and I just don't want to do that. And I know people get a little bit, they're my dogs until I feel like you can take them over and give them what we've been giving them. So. It's a fairly simple process. We don't require you to have a fenced-in yard or anything like that. If you have another pet, you need to bring your pet in to meet the other animal so that we can make sure that everybody's going to get along. So, and we support, Anna alumni. Once you're one of our pets, you're always one of ours. So.
And I do. We always, Kona has her own Instagram page. So I'll hashtag Anna alum on the Instagram page if anybody wants to follow.
Cute. Well, when you said she had a middle name, I remember reading one time, the people that really love their dogs when they have a middle name. So very cool.
Yes. And so, as a pet owner, and we've had 2 shelter dogs now, what should owners expect from a shelter dog when they're doing the adoption process?
You know, you've got to understand that at our shelter, our dogs are out twice a day. So we try to get them out for, depending on the weather, especially with those super cold days, we didn't have them out as long. But they're out twice a day. So that means they're in their kennels, 22 hours a day. So they may not show well. They may come out and they're just so full of energy. And, I always tell people, give them a break. Realize that this is a high stress environment. I've likened it before to a jail and a daycare. Not where anywhere you really want to be. So your stress level is high, your exposure risk is high. They don't want to be there, and I get so many great compliments and people, we love the Anna shelter. And I do too, but the animals don't. They don't want to be there. And as nice as we try to make it for them, and as much as our volunteers and our staff love them, they don't want to be there. They want to be home laying in your bed, or they want to be with their person. We have a small staff, which is nice because the animals get quickly associated with people, but like I said when I walked in, I feel bad because then they think they're my dog, and he's been spending the day with me today, so by tonight when I go to take him back, he's going to be like, wait, what do you mean? We liked each other. So, and that's a tough one. So when you do get a shelter dog, I've had some move into their new homes and within minutes, they're like, yeah, this is home, I'm good here. And I've had others where it's taken a couple weeks, for the dog to feel like I'm at home. And then it's funny, I'll hear people say, oh my gosh, the dog's great. So I don't do follow-up calls right away because they'll say like, oh, the dog's great. Yeah, he's quiet. He doesn't do anything wrong. And then once the dog feels at home, he's barking at everybody and now he's being crazy, So they need to feel at home. But it's definitely a patience thing. And the other thing too, even if it is an owner surrender, people lie. People will tell us like, oh yeah, he's totally housebroken and he's great with kids, and because they think they're telling us what we want to hear, which isn't fair to the dog. It isn't fair to the new owners. So I always tell people, this dog hasn't lived in my home, so I don't know. So you're always taking a risk.
Yeah. When we went through both times, I will say there was an instant connection, and it was something with the eyes, looking them,
absolutely.
into their eyes is like looking into their soul.
Absolutely.
And we just knew we were an instant, instant connection.
I can't tell you how many people will come in with a picture on their phone, or I want this dog.
That's what we did.
And they leave with another one though, because they don't have that connection. They like the look of this dog, but they go in and take somebody else home because they got more of a connection. And I am a firm believer it works out the way it's supposed to. So if you come in looking for one and it's already been adopted, I've had people say, oh, we're just going to leave. And I'm like, no, go in there, look around, let somebody pick you. And 9 times out of 10, that's what happens. Right.
We did. We came in looking for, I believe it was like a Chihuahua mix.
And you left with that dog?
We left with a Border Collie.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And then the second time, I did see, again, the Border Collie had a lot of skin issues, and then Kona Cheyenne came available, and I said, she's it.
That's it. I remember your mom calling about that, and I thought, really? But I remember, too, it's funny, but your mom would bring back or come to shelter alumni events and stuff, and I always think it's funny when people say, I don't know why, but the dog doesn't want to come in. Because the dog's like, oh, heck no, I've got something way better. I'm not going back in that place.
She would stop at the front door and be like, no,
Yeah,
no
Shelby
thanks.
would do that a lot, and your mom was always like, I feel bad. I'm like, no, I get it. They don't, they don't want to come back in here. And I always joke that the other dogs are yelling like, get out of here. The cats are like, don't stay here. Run.
And it's a lifelong commitment. Anywhere from, my gosh, 10, 15 years, however, however long they, that you're privileged to have them live with you. And the expenses, I pulled from your website $1,000 annually. And I just want to list off some of the things that we have paid for over the 5 years that we've owned Kona, but vet wellness visits, emergency vet visits, surgeries, vaccines, the monthly medicine for the fleas, ticks, and worms, dog food, and ours is specialty because of the allergies, do-it-yourself grooming, professional grooming, pet insurance, rehabilitation therapy, water therapy, laser therapy, acupuncture, and
so you're in like the tens of thousands.
Yeah, we're up there.
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
up there. And then dog sitting. If you're going on vacation, you need to hire a dog sitter.
Boarding now is really expensive, and the in-home dogs. And that's what I get frustrated when. I know recently there was a Clear the Shelter events, and we were asked to participate where they were giving the dogs and the animals, cats away for free. And you know, our adoption fee is nominal. For cats, it's $25. For dogs, it's $150. You're getting a pet that's current on its vaccines, that's spayed or neutered, respectively. Almost all of our animals get a dental; they get their teeth cleaned. You know, they've been examined by a veterinarian. They've got the flea preventative. They've got the dewormer. You know, you're getting all that for either $25 or $150. And you know, by taking your own pet to the vet, there's not even a drop in the bucket.
No.
So it frustrates me when the places participate and these give the animals away for free. I don't want them in my shelter either, but I don't want you to take it thinking, oh, it's free? Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
You know, they have to have some kind of a value. And actually, it was frustrating. I watched an interview of a woman that participated in that event, and she said, well, a dog wasn't in our budget, so this was perfect time to get a dog for our kids. And I thought, like, I cringed because I thought, oh my gosh, you know, your dog's not in your budget. That dog could get hit by a car tomorrow. That dog could, one of my dogs swallowed a corn cob, and I had $600 surgery to get that corn cob removed, or he would have died. So, you know, we just don't know. So if it's not in your budget, don't do it.
Right. And when there is just so much maintenance, and, you know, we found a lump on Kona once and instantly got it removed. There was no questions asked, but it was a $600 surgery totally out of the blue.
Exactly. So you've got to be able to provide for them, and that's why our shelter, you know, doesn't do that. But I do believe in some kind of a perceived value. And you know how if you get something, I use the example. I have tenants, and you know, anytime they get a free furniture, you know, free sofa, that's what they leave behind.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They don't take it because it has no value.
Right.
So I don't want that for my dogs. Cats.
Yes. And
guinea pigs.
And that's what I was going to say. You have so many animals at the shelter.
Yeah.
And it's really expanded past cats and dogs.
Oh, absolutely. Obviously, that's our mainstay. But I have felt since before I started my shelter, if an animal needs me, I don't care. You know, I'm going to help it. So we've had everything, you know, small mammals like rabbits, guinea pigs, hamsters, gerbils, rats, mice, all of those sort of things we've had at the shelter. We had a couple of alligators, which was an odd situation. I try not to deal with reptiles only because I'm afraid of them. Yeah. So, but we do have a couple of resources that we work with if we do get reptiles in. And then our farm took off. It's been 5 years now that we've had our farm rescue. Just recently in the media, you've seen we've done a couple cow rescues. You know, and I eat meat. So I had a little bit of flack from the veal transportation that went bad on Interstate 90. I eat meat. I eat, you know, so that I don't have a problem with. But the way they died and the lack of concern on the owner was concerning to me. You know, they didn't need to die the way they died. And then this most recent situation, the farmer admitted that he had not been in the barn in 3 months. So in 3 months, 17 of the cows died, and 4 of them were still alive. You know, nothing should starve to death, or you know, that I'm not okay with. You know,
inhumane treatment.
Absolutely, yeah. So, but we are open to whatever needs us. And a lot of times people try to bring me wildlife. I get a lot of birds, you know, seagulls or whatever have you. And legally, we're not licensed to handle those. Okay. But I can't close my door. You know what I mean? I can't go like, sorry, I can't help you. So we'll take it in, and then we'll resource with other organizations or licensed caretakers. So.
Yeah. And so, again, you have all of these resources available to you, and you operate 3 wellness shelters.
Yeah, we actually opened 4 now.
4 wellness shelters.
Yeah, which is awesome. We partnered with a vet tech school, and part of that was us having a presence there with a clinic. So we actually have 5 veterinarians on staff, which has been such a game changer for us, and why I have offered that to other rescues. Because I remember when I had to pay a vet each time they came in, or paid, you know, retail for medication, and it was killing me. So to actually be able to have my own veterinarians, so the way these wellness centers work, the revenue that they bring in goes back to support the shelter animals. So it's a win-win. People are getting a really good deal on their veterinary care with some of the best vets in the area. And then whatever proceeds are left go to the shelter animals. So it's been just fantastic for us. And then we do offer rescue-to-rescue pricing for other shelters. And I have shelters from Warren, Pennsylvania, from Ohio, coming in to use the resource. So you know, the more animals I can help, the better.
And where are those, the 3 shelters, and you just added a 4th?
Yeah, we have the one next door to the shelter, so that's our East Side Clinic. That's run by Dr. Franklin and Dr. McInerney. And then we have one on 26th and Millfair, just beyond the Walmart, in Millcreek.
Yes.
Yeah, just beyond the Walmart and Wegmans out there. And that is run by Dr. Ball, and Dr. McInerney is also there 1 day a week. I'll tell you about her, which is really cool. We also have the Equine Center. They do small animals twice a week, and then the rest of the time they're either at the racetrack or making calls to other farm animals. And then we have Dr. Lyon out in Quarry, and he's out there. You know, he's amazing. He's one of my favorites. I had a great meeting with him. They're all amazing, but Dr. McInerney, the cool thing with her is she is a feline and small mammal specialist.
Okay.
So that was great to get that on board, because a lot of times if we had, you know, we didn't know how to tell the gender of a guinea pig, you know, so to have her come in and teach the staff, she actually moved here from Chicago to join us. She had been a feline specialist at a specialty hospital in Chicago for 19 years.
Wow.
So like all things cat, I mean, she does dogs as well, but if you have a cat-specific issue, she's fantastic. So we're excited to have her.
Well, that's fantastic. We're going to put all those addresses
thanks.
on the screen.
Okay.
And the other thing I want to touch on, again, just more maintenance issues, the importance of getting your dog licensed and where to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. We sell license. You have to be bonded by the state or the city to sell them. So I don't have them at all of my wellness centers, but you can get them at the shelter. The only ones we don't carry are the lifetime licenses. They require you to either go to City Hall or the county courthouse to get those. Otherwise, we sell the yearly licenses. Yeah, they're so important. 70% of the dogs that come to the shelter have zero identification. He's over here playing with his tail.
I know,
That's why
I
we
see
keep
him running
looking.
in circles.
People are like, what are they doing? So 70% of them come in with zero identification. So, I mean, that's no collar, no tag, no microchip, no nothing. So, the license is a law, you know, so
Yes.
I tell people all the time, the licenses are $6 or $8, depending on whether your dogs are spayed or neutered. But, you know, the fine is $300 if you don't have the dog license.
Yes.
So I try to encourage people, you know, it's $6 now or $300 if you get caught.
Yes.
So.
And
It's a free ride home.
Right.
You know, it gets your dog home. We get to call you and say, hey, you know, my dogs have gotten. I had one of my dogs go through the invisible fence that I have for him. And, you know, thankfully 3 houses down, I got him. But, you know, I'd be devastated if I lost my dog. So.
Yes, and it does. Accidents happen.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. It doesn't mean you're a bad pet
Yeah,
owner.
we forgot to lock the gate, and Kona had gotten outside, and luckily my neighbors knew it was
Yeah.
our dog, and so they
We
notified us.
get that all the
but-
time. The kids left the
yeah.
door open or something spooked her and she jumped the fence.
Right,
It happens. You know, we
right.
don't judge. We're very non-judgmental
Yes.
shelter. I don't like that at all. So we don't judge. I mean, it's happened to me. Like I said, my own dog has gotten out.
Yeah, and identification. I also want to touch on microchipping.
Yeah, microchipping is not what most people think it is. So first off, the microchip is embedded between the shoulder blades, but it can slip. I mean, I've had dogs come in and their microchip is, you know, down into the shoulder, so it can slip on them. The other thing, it's not a GPS tracking device, and I have had so many people say, you know, well, how do I find the dog when it goes missing? And I'm like, well, I mean, that'd be super cool, and I'm sure that is out there, but it's probably very expensive. And the other thing too is wherever the dog is found, they have to be able to read that microchip. So now, obviously, all of our clinics, I think most veterinary hospitals do have a microchip reader. Most shelters should have a microchip reader, but if your dog's found by Joe Public, they're not going to have a microchip reader. So it's a good thing to have, but nothing beats the collar and license. Now, granted, somebody could take the collar off. I've heard all different kinds of arguments about that. One of the best resources, and I just love this girl, Jess Liebrook at Erie Animal Network. She has put together out of her own time a Facebook presence to reunite lost pets in the Erie County, and she does so good. She's so good at that. She's amazing, and really like Jess, we work with her a lot. And it's the way of the world now. You know, social media, 10,000 people see that post. Good chance somebody knows somebody that might have your dog, you know. So.
Right, yeah. And we've used it too. We found, you know, a stray dog in the neighborhood and found its home back through Facebook.
Yep.
So whatever works to get
I always joke
get
that
the babies
Facebook's
back
a
home.
blessing and a curse all at the same
Yes,
time.
it is. Come here, sweetie. And then the rabies vaccines.
Yeah,
Why is
again,
that so
state
important?
law, so there's kind of no getting around that. It keeps your pets safe. Rabies exposure to humans is not as high, but to our dogs who might, you know, a sick bat, bats in this area tend to carry rabies. A sick bat, your dog goes over, what is that, chomps?
Right.
Now your dog's been exposed to rabies. So it's very important. Dog bites happen, and for a person bit by a dog that doesn't have rabies vaccines, it's a big deal too. So I always tell you, it's the law. You know, we make it very simple. It's $10 at one of our rabies clinics. You really can't beat that. So just get it done.
Yes, yes. And speaking of the law, a very important new law just passed with very much support from the Anna Shelter.
Yes.
And from State Representative Ryan Bizzardo.
Yeah.
Can you touch on that for us?
Absolutely. Ryan is a huge animal friend. Even before his run with state office, just had always been supportive. He's considered part of the Anna family. He's adopted dogs from us. But yeah, what happened with that anti-tethering law was fantastic. And our humane police officer, Eric Duckett, was very instrumental in helping to come up with some of the parameters for that law, and then we all went down there when it passed, and it was a great time, because that's the number one thing we see with our cruelty cases is these dogs that never go inside. And it's funny, we just had 3. The new law, and you can look on our website, we have the particulars of it. It doesn't say the dog can't be tied out at all, but there does give some weather and time limitations. But I can't believe when it went into law back in the January, the first time it went into law and became official, and Eric in that 2 weeks brought in 7 dogs because the owners didn't want to bring the dog inside. And why have a dog? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't get that. But and it's funny, I love when people say, well, my dog doesn't want to be inside. Well, I can show you pictures of all those dogs that have been adopted sleeping in someone's bed or laying on the couch or whatever they're doing. So it's not that the dog doesn't want to be in the house. Dogs are pack animals, and if they don't have other dogs to pack up with, you're their pack.
Yeah.
Dogs don't want to be isolated, so that's been a tough one for us.
Yeah, that's hard for me to even listen to, especially when I try to outfit my German Shepherd with winter boots, a winter jacket, and then she comes inside.
Okay, that's excessive. You
and
don't
I
have
put
to do that.
A blanket on her. I can't. But like you said, I just, even when we were getting in the negative weather, I was timing her outside. I was like, she can do 4 minutes.
That's what you have to do. Yeah, you have to do that.
Yeah.
That case we had in Utica not too long ago, they had 3 dogs that they kept outside, had never been inside, and they had never been touched because the breeders, I guess I use that term lately, they heard that if you never touched the dogs, they would be great watchdogs or great guard dogs. Well, the dogs were the opposite. I mean, they would bark at us and growl, but they were so fearful. And fear biting is the number one reason a dog bites, but these dogs now, thank God, only 1 is still having a lot of issues, but 2 of them acclimated pretty quickly. Figured out people were a good thing and have been fine. One of them still suffers a lot from, I think it's PTSD or something of that nature. He isn't handling his new life as well, but he's good. He hangs out with the other dog in the house, but he doesn't want anything to do with people, and they're kind of sad about it because they wanted him to be more social, but that'll come.
Oh, Ruth, our time's just about done here. What I want you to do very quickly is just touch on your big annual rummage sale fundraiser.
Yeah, absolutely. The rummage sale is a huge one for us. So if you have anything you want to donate, I always ask people not to bring us garbage. Literally, that happens. No TVs, only because they're hard to get rid of if they don't sell, and they don't. But anything else, I mean, knickknacks, clothes. We've had so many great furniture. We just had a washer and dryer donated. We have the ability to pick stuff up, so large item pickup is available. So yeah, if anybody can do that, bring it over. You can bring it right to the shelter. You can shoot me an email. We'll coordinate picking it up if necessary.
Oh, Ruth, thank you so much for being on the show.
Our time goes by so quick.
It does go
It's
so
awesome.
fast, and for bringing Sunny. You are so funny. I just
Don't eat the
love you. I
table,
want to take
Sunny.
you home. We'll have to talk. We're going to send a text message to my husband and my mom. We'll see.
I think your mom might be a good contender for such. Your mom definitely has the skill for a dog like this.
Oh, I do too. He is adorable. I want to mention real fast, again, always go to the Anna Shelter's Facebook page, website. Social media is very active for you guys.
Absolutely.
And attend all of your events. We've got Bark in the Park and Pet Photos with Santa, along with the annual rummage sale. And I always say fundraisers are fun, but the Anna Shelter needs monetary donations along with bleach, laundry soap, paper towels, trash bags, and gift cards. So folks, again, we would appreciate anything you can do for the Anna Shelter. And again, especially if it's a good fit, we'd love for you to adopt a dog. And I wanted to thank you for tuning into the Millcreek Government Channel. And until next time, have a great day.